Awesome. All right, so let's do number 6. So for this one, it says a rectangular lot is 8 feet longer than it is wide, has an area of 2,900 feet. What are the dimensions? Okay. So for this one, you don't have to draw a picture of the rectangle. I would, not a huge drawing, just a small one. I just like to label the area in here. It's going to be 2,900. Okay. And then they said that it's 8 feet longer than it is wide. So how I'm going to do that is one of the sides is X, all right, and then the other side says 8 feet longer. Um, and so 8 feet longer, a lot of people would put 8x, but that's not going to work. That would be 8 times as long. So 8 feet longer would be x plus 8. So whenever I write these, I kind of like to just like plug in a made up number for x and see if it makes sense. So if I put in 10 here for x, we can see that this one would be 18. So that is 8 feet longer than it is wide. So that is what I wanted there. If it was 8x and I put in 10, you could see that they would turn the other side into 80, which we don't want. Okay, so then next thing we need to know here is the area of a rectangle. So it's pretty much, I think, the easiest formula in all of geometry. It's just length times width. Just multiply the two sides together. So I'm going to start plugging in here. So we know that the area is 2,900. So I'm going to plug that in for A. And then length and width are kind of interchangeable, which one is which. So I'm just going to have to multiply in some order the x times the x plus 8. Okay, so now we need to solve this. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute the x into this parentheses right there. So that'll become x squared plus 8x. Now this is a quadratic, so we should get one side to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 2,900 over to this side. Plus 8x minus 2,900. Okay, and now we just need to factor. So we should be thinking of two numbers that multiply to negative 2,900 and add to 8. Now I know that 2,900 really big number here, so it can be a little bit scary. Since it's negative 2,900, we're needing the numbers to subtract to 8, so they're kind of should be 8 apart. What I would always recommend when the numbers are big like this, but it's ending in double zeros, like definitely try a lot of multiples of 10. So if I do this, I know it's 10 times 290, which isn't going to work. Okay. And then let's see what's 2,900 divided by 20. I'm just going to jump ahead to, just like I said, all the multiples of 10, because usually those are working. So it's 10 times 100, or sorry, 20 times 145. So still not 8 apart, but we're getting closer. 2,900 is not divisible by 30. That comes out to a decimal. Divided by 40 is also a decimal. 2,900 divided by 50 is 58. So we got 50 and 58, and that does work out if I make the 50 negative and the 58 a positive. That does work out. Okay, so we can just use the shortcut here. So we can say 0 equals parentheses x minus 50 times x plus 58. Remember, we're allowed to use that shortcut because we don't have the number in front of the x squared. All right, and then next up, we can just solve these. This one will be x equals 50, and this one will be x equals negative 58. Now, since these x's represent distance, I would cross off the negative answer here. It's correct mathematically, but it doesn't make sense in the context of like the word problem to have a side length that's negative. And so we know that this side is 50. And then this other side, based on the formula, x plus 8 would be 50 plus 8. Landon, what's 50 plus 8, Landon?
50 plus 8 is 58.
58, very good. From a little assist from our first grader, Landon here. All right. Awesome. Now, what's the actual question here is find the dimensions of the lot. So the dimensions of the lot, you kind of just say it like length by width. So you can say 50 by 58. You can actually also say 58 by 50, like the order of those does not matter. So I'm just going to say 50 by 58. All right. Awesome. Any questions on that first one, number 6? Okay. Well, we're going to jump down to number 7 next then, oops, if I can. No, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay, so similar question here. All right, it's going to be a similar solving. So first of all, we'll start off. Let's draw our rectangle again. This one they say the area is 52. All right, and then once again they say that the width is some relationship to the length. So we're going to label one of these x. All right, and then the other one it says is 1 more than 3 times the width. Now, whenever it says this 1 more than, that is actually, most of people would say that's a +1, and it is, but I think it's always a good habit to put that +1 in back. All right. And it doesn't really matter with addition. You can kind of think of it like if I said 1 more than 5. Well, we all know that answer is 6, right? So am I doing 5 plus 1 or am I doing 1 plus 5? Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? The reason I like to have it as a habit in the back is if it's less than, it actually does need to go in the back. So if I say like 1 less than 7, like we know that's 6, right? So 1 minus 7, we can't do 1 minus 7. It's actually 7 minus 1. So anytime it says like that, 1 more than or 1 less than or 2 more than, 2 less than, always try to put that in the back. And then 3 times the width would be 3x. To answer, Jonathan has a question there that you can all see. Could we use a quadratic formula? Yes, quadratic formula always does work. Now, I do think on most of these, it's going to be like factoring is going to work on most of these. So I'd probably recommend that because I usually think it's easier. But if you get the right answer, which quadratic formula will always give you the right answer, then that's fine. Okay, so same setup here then. We're going to say area equals length times width, since it's, again, a rectangle. That formula may have to change if it's talking about a triangle or something else. And then we'll plug in the 52 for area. We'll plug in x for length and 3x plus 1 for width. So we can see this is going to go kind of the same as it was last time. So we're going to distribute. Actually, I'm going to do this in the same step. I'm going to subtract the 52. And so that's going to give me 3x squared if I distribute that in there, plus x minus 52 equals to 0. Great. All right. So next up, we're going to do our factoring here. So we have to think of two numbers that multiply to a times c. So a times c here is going to be 3 times 52 is negative 156. Now, I already know that if I have that a value of 3 right there, I'm going to have to use the, what do you call it, factor by grouping, not the shortcut on this one, okay? And then our b value is 1. So we have to think of two numbers that multiply to 156 and add to 1. Now, since it's negative, they're really subtracting to 1. So they need to have like a difference of 1. So 156, I can do 3 times 52. That's too far apart, obviously. 156 divided by 4 is 39. So again, too far apart. 156, I know it doesn't divide by 5. I think it divides by 6. Yes, 6 times 26, but still not 1 apart. Does it divide by 7? No. 8? No. Does it divide by 9? No. 156 divided by 10, I know is a no. 11? No. 156 divided by 12 is 13. Hey, there we go. 12 times 13, so we can use those numbers. If we do a positive 12, no, it's a negative 12 and a positive 13, right? Yeah, that'll make a add to a positive 1 and then multiply to a negative 56. Okay, so like I said, we cannot use the shortcut on this one. We have to rewrite this expression. So I'm going to use rewrite the 3x squared right there. And we split up that middle term according to the numbers from the x. So we'll go minus 12x plus 13x minus 52 gets brought down. Now we're going to use the factor by grouping here. All right, so factor by grouping, we're going to group those two and those two. First group, I can take out a 3x, leave me with x minus 4. The second group, I can take out a positive 13, which would also leave me with x minus 4. Okay, so now we can rewrite this as 0 equals And then I have the x minus 4 for the stuff on the inside, and then 3x plus 13 for the stuff on the outside. And so that means that this one's going to be x equals 4. This one would be negative 13 over 3. I'm going to already know I'm going to ignore that negative answer. And so really, for the purposes of the word problem, x is just going to equal 4 for me. Okay, so now I can redraw my triangle here. All right, and so we said that this side was x, so that's going to be 4. And then the other side was 3x minus 1. So 3 times 4 minus 1 would give us, or sorry, 3x plus 1. So 3 times 4 plus 1 would give us 13. So we have a 4 by 13 rectangle here. Now this one is actually asking us for, what is this one asking us for? Is it asking us for the width, the length? No, it's asking us for the perimeter. All right, so for the perimeter of a rectangle, you can use the formula 2L plus 2W. Technically, you can just add up all the sides if you knew that this one was 4 and that one was 13. But I'll just go and use the formula because we're actually going to use it on the next problem. So again, length and width is kind of interchangeable. So you just have to put one of the side lengths right there and then the other one right there. So 2 times 4 plus 2 times 13. 26 plus 8, is it? 34. So our total perimeter there would be 34. Any questions on that one? Awesome. All right, one more question, and I think we'll be done for the day. Let me go back up and we'll grab it. And good news on this one, no factoring. Okay. So your boss has a poster that's 100 meter by 140 centimeters and wants you to buy a frame for it. He's very eccentric and insists the perimeter of the frame be 1.5 times the perimeter of the poster, which should be the dimensions of the frame. Okay, so we're going to set up this. We have a lot of these like frame problems are pretty popular. So a picture frame, just do like a rectangle within a bigger rectangle. You can kind of think about that would be a picture frame, correct? Okay, and so the poster or the picture is going on the inside and the frame is really on the outside. So the dimensions they gave me here for the poster, 100 by 140, I'm going to put right here, and I'm going to put right here. So one of the side lengths is 100, the other one is 140. I went ahead and did the one that looks bigger to me as the 140. So I did the 100 down there, and then this one would be the 140. All right, great. Now, whenever you draw one of these frame pictures, there's also another dimension that they're not telling you about. And so that is actually here. The distance from the picture to the edge of the frame is going to be x, okay? But that distance from the picture to the edge of the frame is the same in every direction. So it's also going to be x going this way. It's also going to be x going this way. And it's also going to be x down here going this way. And so we're going to need 4 of those x's kind of going on every side of those frames. I guess 1 x on every side of the frame. You can see I have 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 on top, and 1 on bottom. Okay, so now I want the dimensions of the frame here. Okay, so if I kind of go, let's say we go left to right first. And so I'm asking myself, what's the distance from here to here? Well, obviously it's more than 100, correct? Because my 100 is right here. That's the same as it is right there. So it's more than 100. How much more? Well, it's x more on that side. It's x more on that side. And so I would say this length going from left to right would be x plus 100 plus x, which I would call 100 plus 2x. Okay, so again, I'm getting that 100 plus 2x because I knew this side was 100, which means this side is 100. So I have the 100 in the middle, plus x on that side, plus x on the other side gives me the plus 2x. So then I hope if you can see that, you can see that going up and down, it'd kind of be the same idea. I have the 140 right here, but I have another X on top and another X on bottom. And so this side would be 100. No, it wouldn't. It would be 140 plus 2X. Right, that's sideways. Nice. Okay, so 140 plus 2X going that way, okay? Now, this one's asking about perimeter. So they say they want the perimeter of the frame to be 1.5 times the perimeter of the poster. Now, I can actually find the perimeter of the poster right now. So why don't I go ahead and do that? So I'm going to label this P sub poster. So the perimeter of the poster. And we're going to use that formula we just learned on the last one for perimeter is 2L plus 2W. All right, so we can do that perimeter there. Okay, so 2 times 100 plus 2 times 140, that would be 480, right? Okay, so the perimeter of the poster is 480. And so what they're saying here is he wants the perimeter of the frame to equal 1.5 times the perimeter of the poster. So I need to multiply that by 1.5. Okay, so 1.5 times 480 is going to give me 720. Okay. And so they're saying they want the perimeter of the frame to be 720. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to set it equal to the perimeter formula. So we're going to say 720 equals, and I'm going to use 2L plus 2W here. I'll write the formula up here. Perimeter equals 2L plus 2W. I'm going to use that right here. But instead of L, I'm going to plug in one of my side lengths, 100 plus 2X. And then instead of W, I'm just going to plug in my other side length. Once again, I'm kind of using W and L interchangeably here because it doesn't really matter which one is which. Okay, so now we just need to solve this equation for X. That'll kind of set us on our way. I don't think it's going to be our answer, but it'll be close to our answer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute in there. So this gives me 200 plus 4X plus 280 plus 4X. Combined like terms there gives me 8X plus 480 equals 720.
I just see the higher number than.
Okay, and now we minus 480 from each side. Let me do that in a different color. Minus 480. And that'll be 240 equals 8X. So then we'll divide both sides by 8. And X equals 30. Okay. Now it asks me what are the dimensions of the frame. So again, although X does equal 30, we're gonna have to plug those back in to get our dimensions here. So why don't I do that now? All right, so 140 plus 2 times 30. All right, so 140 plus 60 means that this side is 200. All right, and then 100 plus 2 times 30 down here. So 100 plus 60 means this side is 160. So they asked us for the dimensions. So like I said on question 6, we can just list them like this. 160 by 200 is the size of the frame that he wants. Or she. Oh, no, it says he. All right. Awesome.